Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Hidden Quantum Champions. Today we are looking at another company from the quantum communication space, and if you want to know what makes LuxQuanta unique and what differentiates them from their competitors, then stay tuned for today's video, because now we are jumping right in, we are deep diving into LuxQuanta, and let's start on their website. So here it says light it up. Get the quantum key, ultra-safe communications with quantum cryptography. So the company is based in the quantum communication space, quantum cryptography, to be, let's say, more precise. So securing information and making sure that, it stays safe and is not being eavesdropped, I guess. So ensuring that communication is secure is a fundamental group on which the telecommunication industry is based. A fundamental ground, sorry. Any data sent over a link could be intercepted and read at any point unless encrypted. Encryption scrambles information into illegible states, useless to anyone without the key to decrypt it, keeping everybody's data safe. Cryptography applies mathematics algorithms to build those keys and protect the information transmitted through a link from any attack. And that's basically how cryptography has always worked. Of course, there are, let's say, before computers, there were easy schemes like mechanical systems to kind of encode information in a specific way that it could not be read by anybody. In between, then the computers were invented, and with the computers also new methods have been invented based on prime numbers like the RSA encryption that we are using today to decrypt and encrypt messages. Now, why is this paradigm changing now? Why do we need to look into new technologies? I guess that is what we are learning here. So cryptography techniques used nowadays are no longer future-proof. This is because the keys are generated based on complex algorithms that could take too long for traditional computers to break, but it will be easily hackable by quantum computers. And that's this idea of Shor's algorithm, right? Harvest now, decrypt later. So you're basically sniffing out this information today, you store it on some hard disk drive, and then in a couple of years from now, when you have a quantum computer, you use this algorithm, which can do prime factorization much more efficiently than every machine today. And then you can just crack up this message. You can read what has been encrypted, so you can decrypt it with this algorithm in a more or less brute force way. So it will happen once quantum computers reach a specific capacity, a milestone expected to occur over the next decade, not enough time to protect sensitive information that could have been stored today in a harvest now and decrypt later attack. And here is their proposed solution. So you see it's like a product. You see it with Ethernet ports, probably in a rack type of size and form factor. And it says quantum key distribution, QKD, can provide long-term and future-proof data protection also against quantum computers. Quantum key distribution, also known as quantum cryptography, exploits quantum mechanical properties to securely generate a shared key between two remote network nodes using an optical fiber or through free space. The distribution of quantum signals, extremely weak light pulses, combined with high-speed data processing, allows this technology to detect an intruder trying to eavesdrop on the communication link. This makes the shared key ultra-secure and resilient against attack of a quantum computer. And this is usually done using the superposition principle and the entanglement. So you're basically creating, for example, an entangled pair of photons, and then you're using this in order to share a key between two different parties. You communicate some information, like, for example, the polarization position on a classical channel, and then you're using the quantum properties to detect whether your information has been eavesdropped or not by calculating some correlation numbers. And if you want to learn more about that, also check out the previous videos. There have been some explanations about that. You find all the previous videos in the Hidden Quantum Champions playlist on this YouTube channel. So I guess now we learned some more about the application side. So LuxQuanta quantum key distribution systems preserve the confidentiality of communications in application segments with the most stringent security requirements. So clearly not every, let's say, encrypted message needs to stay encrypted for an infinite amount of time. So think about your banking app. When you have a two-factor authentication, it's not really of any value for the attacker to be able to kind of decrypt the message that you get on your second device for the two-factor authentication in 10 years from now, because by then it will anyways be expired, right? So if you try to unlock your bank account with your phone, for example, it will send you some number there, 83, and then you type on the computer 83, and this is this idea of two-factor authentication. And if now somebody would listen to this conversation, for example, to the number that was sent to your phone in an encrypted channel, and in 10 years they would know it's 83, it will not make any use anymore, because usually these keys, they do expire within a couple of minutes or maybe hours. So, but there's other information that needs to stay, let's say, encrypted for a longer amount of time. And here, I guess they explain some of these applications where this is of interest. One example is telecommunication network providers. So it says telecom service providers are obliged by the European law to ensure that personal data is accessed by authorized persons only and protected from being destroyed, lost, or altered. There is the governmental institution side, right? Governmental institutions handle extremely confidential data. If hacked, could have a devastating effect on security, national economy, and public safety. There's of course also the mission critical systems. Think about like your nuclear power plant, I guess, things like this, right? Protecting communications in mission critical systems is paramount concern, as any failure or interruption in these systems can cause substantial damage. There's something else down here. Then I'm not 100% sure what they are referring to with mission critical systems. There's data centers, so data center storage and process all information that is consistently retrieved. That's kind of clear. Hospitals and healthcare, sure, your medical data should remain safe. You don't want this to be exploited or exposed to somebody else who can hack into that. In healthcare facilities, patient data privacy is paramount. QDK offers a highly secure method of transmitting medical records, protecting sensitive patient information from cyber attacks and interception, while ensuring uncompromised data quality, uncompromised quality of care. There's satellite communications. While the increasing reliance on satellite communication, there is a growing need of highly secure channels for transmitting critical information. QKD provides a secure method of transmitting sensitive information that protects against attacks by cyber criminals and foreign governments. Now, this might not be, let's say, the first thing that you're thinking of when you think about telescopes in space, right? So like there are these telescopes like Hubble that are taking these super high resolution images of the space. These are, of course, let's say, this is not the type of data that you need to protect, because later on it will anyways be published. I mean, of course, you want to protect this extremely expensive piece of technology that you've put up there in the space from somebody hacking into it. But let's say the data itself is more, let's say, is probably less of a target for hacking. But there's other data which is being acquired in space that you also don't want to hack into. Like, for example, if you have some national agencies that are collecting data on, I don't know, specific areas that might be, I don't know, war zones, but that might also be trying to investigate what another country is doing, if they are trying to ramp up secretly some nuclear program or things like that. So for like safety. reasons. And this kind of data, I guess, should stay encrypted properly, and you don't want to expose that to anybody else. And I guess that's why people are like, also governments are looking into these types of encryption channels. Of course, there is also some cases in banking. So private banks and financial institutions handle large amounts of sensitive financial information daily. QKD provides a highly secure method of transmitting financial data, preventing fraudulent activities and unauthorized access to sensitive information, while ensuring customer trust and confidence. So I mentioned before, the two-factor authentication might not be such a thing, but of course your bank account itself should stay protected also in the next couple of years, in the next 10 years, and you don't want that somebody who's kind of sniffing in between your bank and your browser that you have at home to listen to or to know how much, let's say, money you have on your bank account, where you do the transactions. These are all things that you can see in your let's say, banking portal, in your online banking portal today, and they are protected by classical encryption. But of course, this at some point might be not the case anymore, right? And of course, for you as a single person, like as an individual, it's probably not extremely relevant because there's not so much to win from this. But of course, the banks also, between them, they have these interaction channels. So they also have to communicate information between each other. And that is system critical information, because there you're talking about very different amounts of money transactions and also of data transmissions that are happening on a daily basis. And if you kind of can sniff in between there, you can probably produce quite a lot of damage. Then on top, there's also the let's say, power providers, right? So utilities such as power grids, water distribution systems, and transportation networks rely heavily on secure communication networks. QKD provides a highly secure method of transmitting sensitive information that protects against attacks from malicious actors, ensuring safe and uninterrupted service delivery. And I mean, here again, if you're looking at power grids, for example, it's a highly complex topic. You're talking about grids that span over many, many kilometers. So basically, the whole European Union is in a way connected in an electrical grid. We've seen also earlier in 2025, there was this coincident in Spain where there was an issue in the power grid. And these grids, they are becoming more and more difficult to manage because of all the renewable energy sources and more fluctuations going in there. I'm not an expert in that, but that's just what people are observing today. And it kind of makes sense, right? If you have more producers and more consumers and you're putting them all into a network, and the network has been built many, many years ago, right? So the network is not something that you can easily dynamically change, but the consumer behavior and also the industrial needs, they are changing dynamically, much more dynamically probably than such a network. And therefore, it becomes more and more challenging to kind of manage all of this. And if now somebody could sniff in between, I think it's probably much easier to kind of destabilize this thing, because it's anyways already much more complicated to manage it in a stable way. And yeah, I guess there you also need to make sure that this is in a way protected. So LuxQuanta's mission is to seamlessly integrate innovative and secure quantum key distribution systems into existing telecommunication infrastructures, revolutionizing communication and data security. And there are also some news here. I'm recording this end of 2025. The last article that I see here is from the end of October 2025. It says quantum safe networks in action at AWS Singapore Innovation Hub. At the newly opened AWS Innovation Hub in Singapore, LuxQuanta and Evolution Q are showcasing a live demonstration of a working quantum-safe network in a financial institution use case, protecting its data center with an AWS Direct Connect facility. And there's more information available here as well. Now, quickly, let's take a look into their solution, which is called Nova LQ. So it says that's the system that we've seen before, right? It says the smart path to quantum security, step into the future with Nova LQ, the next generation of quantum cryptography, engineered to protect telecom networks and data center communications with unprecedented speed, efficiency, and reach. And then here you see the system. It says Nova LQ, cost-effective quantum cryptography system, co-propagation in one optical fiber. The quantum signal transmits alongside standard DWDM data channels, removing the need of a dedicated fiber. And I guess that is already something which is in a way, I'm not sure if it's unique, but it's definitely something that not all of these solutions provide. So you can take an existing fiber where that's something that also others provide, right? You can take an existing fiber, you don't have to create a new one. But here it also says you can use the fiber still for your normal data transmission. And on top of that, you add this quantum channel now. Extended secure reach to 100 kilometers, ensure secure long-distance communication across offices, data centers, and government networks without compromising performance. So up to 100 kilometers is what they have probably shown already. Compact and powerful, 50% smaller, integrated post-processing, and housed in a 2U rack mount from form factor. So that's this one here, which is, I think, a standard telecom form factor, rack form factor. And then it says carrier-grade components engineered for on-premise deployment using only mature telecom components for maximum reliability, which is also important because when we are looking at these systems here, I think we've also seen that before with benchmarks from other providers. If you haven't seen the videos, check out the Hidden Quantum Champions playlist. Important is what is the number of keys that you can generate per second, per minute, per hour. How stable does it actually work? Because also like the fiber might change because of temperature fluctuations or whatever. And then you might have to adjust some settings. You have to recalibrate the machine. So can it do it by itself? How efficient is it in doing that? Of course, here this dual use factor is also very interesting because you don't have to, let's say, donate one of the fiber lines, which, I mean, they're very expensive and you can't just add an infinite amount of those because you always have to like physically create those. So yeah, I think that's an interesting factor as well. And then here it says next level quantum security, seamless deployment. Nova LQ redefines quantum security with a perfect balance of efficiency, scalability, and seamless integration. Designed with continuous variable QKD technology, it enhances existing telecom infrastructure with delivering unparalleled performance with minimal complexity. 100 kilometer range, DWDM compatible. We've seen that before. 2U design. Multi-receiver scalability, that's also interesting. So a single transmitter supports multiple unpaired interchangeable receivers, enabling ring and star topologies. That's for like data center setups. So yeah, it's basically network vocabulary. So as the name says, in a ring you basically have the different nodes, which are the data center set up in a ring type of structure, where you can communicate something, in a ring. Whereas in the star infrastructure, you have basically a center one, and then it branches out into different directions, like for a star. And here it says it works in both of those topologies. And then you have the integration with top KPMs and encryptors, fully compatible with leading key management systems, KMS, and encryption providers, ensuring interoperability with ETS I014 and ETS I004 and SKIP protocol. With Nova LQ, you push the limits of each integration and efficiency, all in a best-in-class, future-ready quantum cryptography solution. Built to protect the world's most sensitive data, and we've seen these cases already before. Powered by innovation, built by experts, LuxQuanta is redefining quantum security. In just a few years, we've reached unprecedented milestones in QKD technology, positioning ourselves at the forefront of the industry. With cutting-edge engineering and continuous innovation, we've created Nova LQ, the ultimate QKD system for performance, flexibility, and future-proof security. And here we see another couple of important notes. So a ready-to-deploy CVQKD already available for implementation, up to 100 kilometer reach. We've seen that before, so no need for dedicated fiber is another interesting argument. 18 months of record-breaking innovation, and then only carrier-grade components for maximum flexibility. Transitioning to quantum-safe network takes time. Any innovative technology needs time for testing, qualification, and actual deployment. The time to start working on a detailed plan to integrate a quantum key distribution systems is now. Ensure your data remains confidential. With QKD, both companies and institutions will protect the data integrity of customers and citizens. So then let's talk quantum security is the call to action to reach out to them and start evaluating their system. And I mean, indeed, there are already companies, organizations evaluating those systems as of today. So I guess also LuxQuanta already has a couple of people, customers, organizations that are evaluating those, governments that might be evaluating those, telco providers that might be evaluating those. So they are all very much interested in learning more about this. And then, of course, also data centers might have their own kind of fiber connection between the different sites, in this different topography. So also there it might be interesting to take this into account. In top of that, there are also resources here. So you see, expand your knowledge, lessons learned from our journey in QKD. So you see there are some articles here like continuous and discrete quantum key distribution, Sawatzky-Golay filter-based phase recovery of CVQKD. So this is from 2024, some scientific presentation. And that's exactly what I was talking about before, right? So these fibers, they are probably changing their properties. I don't know what are the exactly underlying reasons, but there is this phase detuning, and there's some methods to recover that, because otherwise you are kind of losing your QKD system capabilities after a while because of this drift. And here they apply this Sawatzky-Golay based method. So that's an algorithm and a filter to kind of, I guess, catch this phase drift and recover from that. And there's more also here, as well as frequently asked questions. And I also saw they have a learning hub here. Maybe, let's see. Yeah, so that is the learning hub. So you can read about these things on the website. Now, as per usual, at the end, we also want to learn a little bit more about the company itself. So we check out the About Us part, about LuxQuanta, enabling a new age of security in telecommunications with quantum key distribution systems. Here you see the team. LuxQuanta was born in May 2021 and is a spin-off from ICFO, the Institute of Photonic Science, a world-leading research center for photonics and quantum technologies, where it was incubated for over 4 years. From our headquarters in Barcelona, with a majority of European shareholders and total European control, we strive to deliver quantum key distribution QKD systems and technologies to be integrated into existing network infrastructures, while capable of providing a quantum-safe layer of security on top of mathematical cryptographic techniques. So, meaning you can still use the old paradigm of cryptographically encrypting a message, and then on top of that, or in addition to that, you apply this quantum key distribution scheme. Here, something about the investors and co-founders. So here you see different investors, the European Innovation Council is part of it, but you see, for example, also this Vira, part of, I guess, Telefonica group. So you see that there's also some interest from the telco providers in there. You see GTD as a software systems and software engineering house being part of that, and many others. Quickly about the company, I guess company values and team. So it says a multidisciplinary team. LuxQuanta team is made of engineers, each with decades of experience in quantum technologies, FPGA development, telecommunications, digital signal processing, microelectronics, software development, and optoelectronic components. Engineering is our core expertise. And for that, we constantly seek scientific collaborations with other innovative companies and research institutes, nurturing the technology that sustains a strong quantum communication industry. And then proud members and contributors, LuxQuanta is committed to promoting the growth of quantum cryptography ecosystems in Europe. We are proud to be a member of Optica, formerly OSA, European Quantum Industry Consortium, EuroQuick, and then Spanish Association of the Digital Industry Sector, AMETIC. These organizations share our vision and are dedicated to stimulating a thriving quantum industry across Europe. The vision of LuxQuanta is to safeguard the confidentiality of personal, institutional, and governmental data, fortify information system security, and enhance Europe's digital sovereignty and global industrial competitiveness. And then LuxQuanta's values are innovation, leadership, trust, and passion. Innovation, it says, any transformation, evolution, or new disruptive technology is led by innovation. Innovation is how we are at our core. On the leadership side, it says we have the confidence and the skills to be the best in what we do, leading the quantum key distribution market and unlocking the potential of this technology in Europe. The trust side says we keep our word, we keep our commitments. Trust is simply the best policy as a principle and essential for establishing a solid business relationship. And then passion nourishes success, drives motivation, and provides a sense of purpose. Passion fuels us in our quantum journey each day, every day. And then here we see the team with the leadership of the company as well as the engineers. So we see it's a quite big team with a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds. You see like quantum theory, but also engineering, software engineering, electronics, but also, of course, what the company needs to function, financial people, system administration. So many different facets and sides. Finally, it says LuxQuanta is leading and participating in the most cutting edge and visionary QKD projects that Europe is funding. Quantum cryptography constitutes a promise and rapidly growing market, strongly fueled by both governments and private institutions. LuxQuanta is blazing a trail of innovation, standing at the forefront of the quantum communications revolution. As a testament to our expertise and dedication, both national and European governments have entrusted us with millions of euros in funding to support our cutting-edge research and development efforts. And then down here you see also other associations like the Quantum Flagship in Europe and the QSN and the European Innovation Council that are part of this. I think the company is based in Spain, if I remember correctly from what I've read above. And yeah, I don't see any information here, at least on the funding part. With that, I think that's everything that I wanted to share with you about LuxQuanta today. I hope you liked the video. If so, please make sure to give it a like. If there are any open questions, just post them down in the comments below. I'm happy to answer to those. And if you don't want to miss out on the next video, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Until then, as always, stay hydrated and bye-bye.